Should we sing Jingle Bells? Should we get started? What do you want to do? Good morning. We're a friendly bunch here on Christmas morning.
Need someone to help them get dressed in the morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome home to Unity. Gosh, even this great crowd on this bright and crisp Christmas morning. And welcome to all you that are online. We know that you're all sitting at home for comfy Christmas in your comfy jammies. That's kind of a thing for us for comfy Christmas. We all wear our Christmas jammies or something really comfy. No tie, no suit, no nothing for church. So it's a wonderful time for us. And we welcome everyone, and we are so glad to see all your faces. And we are right now going to say thank you to all the folks who came to help us today. It takes a village, I am telling you, to do this. And we know that our beloved choir director and musician Nina and her husband Carl are snow drifted in out there in the country where they live. So we thank Lisa for being here for lead our music. It'll be great fun with jingle bells and ukuleles. That'll be fun. So, and the folks who came in to run the slides and run the AV and sound in the back in the movie. So here we all are. It's great to be here this morning. We lit our Advent candles again just for the time for Christmas Day. We know that we have used the idea of love came down at Christmas for a theme for our service today. And we remember how they have been lit every week. And the first one was for hope and faith. And we can remember that in the Old Testament that the prophets had written about the Christ child coming way back then. And they were living in times of chaos, much like every century seems to have. And so they were hoping to see a Messiah. And the second one was peace, and sometimes we think of that as an angel's calendar because the angels announced that Jesus came to bring us all peace. He came to bring people closer to God and to each other again. The third one stood for love, often referred to as a Bethlehem candle by some people, because we're reminded that Mary and Joseph had so much love for their unborn child. And then we had the loving hospitality of the people in the town that found a place for them to be safe and in shelter overnight. The fourth one was joy, and sometimes that's referred to as the birth of Christ, but maybe it's just the shepherd's candle. Wouldn't that be fun? The shepherds had great joy. They saw the angels talk to them, and they came, and they knew that Jesus had come just for humble, everyday people, just like they were. And so the middle one is the Christ candle. And we learned last night in our candle lighting that for the people, our Jewish friends celebrating Hanukkah, that's the helper candle on their candelabra. It's the middle one that stays lit all the time, much like our Christ candle does. And it's our way shower and the light that's within each of us that shines on the path. So we'll leave those lit again today for our service. All right, and so if you're a guest here today, we offer information pamphlets out on the welcome table in the foyer. There's all kinds of things there. But there are little packets there that you can take that tell you all about Unity. And if you are at home online and wonder more about Unity, you can call the office or look online and find more information about Unity there also. It's that time of year when we're looking at our bylaws and our annual meeting, and we know that we've begun looking for people to run for the Board of Trustees, our nominating process. So if you're an active member of Unity and you would like to be on the board, we invite you to take nomination packet off the table, and or you could check in the office when the office is open and get one there. We have 2 full 3-year terms coming up that need someone to be in those positions, and 1 2-year position to fill Michelle Cole's unexpired term when she moved away. The election will take place during the annual meeting on the 22nd of January, so mark your calendars for that annual meeting so you don't forget that important day. Now, another exciting important day is New Year's Eve. We're going to have a wonderful party here, just fun, from 6 to 9 in the evening, game night and party. All kinds of games and songs, I'm sure, food, a great big, huge hot cocoa bar with many, many choices, so don't miss that. It's going to be great fun. And then next Sunday at 10 is January 1st already, and Reverend Deborah will lead us in a burning bowl service. And burning bowl is a great process for releasing things that no longer serve you, letting go of those as you enter the new year, and looking forward to affirmations to guide you through that. We have a Christmas drive every year, and this year's Christmas drive is to benefit the veterans at the Freedom Foundation. That's a new spot for them down there on, I don't know, next to Taj Mahal. Center Point Road, next to Taj Mahal. And they are in need of new, unused basic toiletries and new cleaning supplies. And so there's a donation box out there in the foyer. You might have seen it when you came in, and that'll stay in place there through Sunday, November 1st. You said November. Oh my gosh. Gosh, and I have taken a lot of reading courses. It says January here. I don't know. I think I'm dreaming and wishing it was back where it's not so cold. All right. Well, my Community Creates group meets on the first Saturday of the month, and that's a group of people that like to do art together and just be creative. But anyone can come. You don't have to be an artist. It's just a fun time to do little things. And this month, we're going to talk about who have you come here to be, and kind of thinking about what word comes forth for you to guide you in the new year. And we have all kinds of leftover Christmas papers and stickers and fun things. And so we're going to make an ornament to take home, a snowflake ornament that you can leave up all winter that has your word on it. So that'll be something to remind you each day. So that's Saturday morning, first Saturday, and we start at 9 in the morning, go through noon. So look forward to having some of you join us there. All right, and we have a prayer room right over there, to my right, to your left. And if you have a prayer concern today, any of us licensed Unity leaders, myself, Jan Griffith, Susan Liddell, or Barb Buchanan will be available to be prayer partners today. And we're also the ones who always are in charge of Comfy Christmas, which is fun. And there's a slide that shows our pictures, not in our comfy jammies, but in our dress-up clothes. But anyway, there we are. But we've done this for many, many years, and I found slides on my computer back to 2010 to 2012 where we did our comfy Christmas times. So in the past, we've done readings and music, and today we're going to do the same thing we did last year. It was so much fun, was to share stories with the audience. We'll have a topic, and then we'll have you share stories if you have something on that topic, and then we'll sing a song. So it'll be great fun, and it'll just move right along. And be a time for all of us to share with one another. You can do the daily word now, sure. Then I'll do I haven't done any of the announcements, but that's fine. All of them, but that's fine. Go right ahead.
Hi. As we move into a time of hearing the words of the daily word, I invite you to get comfortable in your chair and to hear these words with your heart. And today is Christmas. With joy, I welcome Christmas. Far from home, Luke's gospel story tells us Mary and Joseph welcomed a child with only a stable filled with animals as a birthing place and a feeding trough for a cradle. The story reminds me that no state of consciousness is too humble, no station in life too lowly, and there is no fear that cannot give way to wonder. Wherever it finds a willing, welcoming heart, the Christ will be born. No matter how I am celebrating Christmas, I will carry this awareness with me. Today I feel the dawning of promise and potential in me, as I feel the Christ presence within me afresh and anew. This is the greatest gift I could ever receive and the best gift I have to give. Luke 2:7. And she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in a manger because there was no place for them in the inn.
So let's begin our regular service now with our opening prayer and meditation. Sit quietly and bring yourself right to this place. Put away all that busyness of Christmas and all that hurrying to get here. And just sit quietly now. Put away all thoughts of past errors or mistakes. And allow that faith, hope, peace, and the loving Christ nature to be born anew again in you. We gather together today to experience and embrace our spiritual journey, the one that led us along this pathway to Christmas. This is a season to experience a new birth within, guided along the way by the Christ light. When things seem uncertain and we are faced by confusing twists and turns on the path, may we have that faith that sets our feet confidently along the way to our highest good. As those same old stumbling blocks pop up on the path, may we release those old patterns of being, those thoughts and actions that hold us back from our goals. May we see the light and warmth of peace just around the bend as we move forward with the confidence, the hope, and the strength born out of our faith. Peace does not mean being in a place where there is no noise, no trouble, no indecision, no turmoil. It means being in the midst of all those things and still feeling the serenity that is always in your heart. We live in the presence of unconditional love, and the unconditional love of Christ lives in us, as us, and through us. And so it is. Amen.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Hold on. Strike that. would help if I start on the right note. Let's start there. Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Sing, choirs of angels, sing in exaltation. Sing, all ye citizens of heaven above. Glory to God in the highest. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord.
Okay, now it's time for the first question of the day.
Go grab the microphone.
Ethan's going to be our runner with the mic, and the question is about picking a favorite Christmas song. What one would come to the foremost in your heart or your mind that is a top favorite? There goes a hand up. Cindy.
My favorite is Mary, Did You Know?
Mary, Did You Know? Thank you. No one else has a favorite? Oh, here we go.
I think I would want Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Nice.
Somewhere in my memory.
Which one was that?
Somewhere in my memory. Is that what you said?
Okay. Oh, here we go. Yes.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
Zoe, who's 7, likes George Michael's Last Christmas.
You got to use the microphone.
Anybody else? We'd love to hear what you think is your top song. Do I need to call on somebody like Chris? Chris?
What would be the one you never want to hear again?
I know.
I do have the chords for that one. We could sing that.
For me, Feliz Navidad keeps going away.
When it's something like, I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
Oh, come on. That's my favorite.
Anyone else? I would add 12 Days of Christmas. Least.
Unless it's done by Straight No Chaser. And that's a really cool arrangement of that song.
I have two top favorites. One is Silent Night and Oh Holy Night. But anybody else want to participate in this song? Oh, yes. Yes, there we go.
Use the microphone. You got to give her the microphone.
My favorite Christmas song is Barbra Streisand's Jingle Bells.
Nice. Paula, do you have one?
Paula doesn't pick
Paula
favorites.
doesn't pick favorites. Okay, all righty. Thank you, everybody.
So on that note, I think our next slide is a song choice. It's your choice, audience choice of songs. Jingle Bell Rock, Let It Snow, Winter Wonderland, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, Jingle Bells. Awesome. You know what? I don't think we have a slide for that one, guys, because I just added that. But, you know, grab some bells. You all know it, right? There's bells around here. We need all the bells. Chris, grab those bells. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing in bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime in jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air, what a bright time is the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time is a swell time to go gliding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock. A mix and a mingle and a jingling beat. That's the Jingle Bell Rock. What a bright time is the right time to rock the night away. What is the Jingle Bell time is a swell time to go gliding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock. A mix and a mingle and a jingling beat. That's the Jingle Bell. That's the Jingle Bell. That's the Jingle Bell Rock. Woo-hoo.
So when I was thinking about this service and what story or memory of Christmas spoke to me of love, when love came down at Christmas. I saw that commercialization of Christmas all around, and I went, ooh, this is getting out of hand, you know. And then here I got all these notes from friends who are my age group, but anyway, they wondered if we've lost that true meaning of Christmas. And I thought, how much I love Santa. See, I brought some of my Santa pins. I have a lot of Santa things. And what I've learned from all those Santa memories, so maybe think back on some of your memories and think about, what does Santa mean to you? When I was very small and living with my grandparents, this was during World War II, my grandpapa would always recite, "'Twas the night before Christmas." I heard it so many times that I had it memorized, and then in the past years here, I've rewritten it for my reading about Unity, Cedar Rapids, and the night before Christmas, and what all went on in the quiet of the church. But it sparked my lifelong love for poetry. So that was a wonderful thing. Santa always secretly brought gifts of love while we were at church. As we were headed out to church, Grandpa and then Papa would always have an excuse to go back indoors. Forgot a glove, didn't get the church offering envelope, something, and we'd all sit in the car and wait and wonder what they were up to. And it took us a long time to figure out that they were actually setting out all those Santa gifts all in a hurry. There was love and magic when we came back from church and found Santa's gifts specially chosen just for us. And until my papa's death, when I was close to 50, he still bought and labeled gifts from Santa, even for us as adults. I have a huge collection of Santa figurines given with love from many family and friends. And when my son married a woman with a 5-year-old child, a friend dressed up like Santa and came ho-hoing down into the family room as we were making our traditional s'mores over the fireplace. The look of wonder and joy on his face as Santa hugged him and ran back upstairs to his sleigh was a joy for all to see. So the Santas in my life not just brought presents and commercial stuff, but they brought joy and love of each special message and gift. And the magic of poetry, of flying reindeer, and also the Christ light shining out of each smiling face, the best gifts of all. Now, any of you like to share a memory of Santa Claus? What was important with Santa for you? Okay.
Little, Grandpa, my Grandpa Herbie would always take us out driving around. We would always gather on Christmas Eve, and we would eat. And then Grandpa would take us out to look for lights and to look for Santa Claus. And we would drive around and see all the lights and look for Santa. And sometimes we'd find him, up on top of a house or something like that. And then, lo and behold, every single time we got back and we had missed him, he came to our house. And we missed him every time. But golly, he brought those magic presents. And it's just a really special memory for me. So that's my memory of Santa.
Anybody else? There you go.
So let's see. I think this isn't exactly Santa, but one thing that I guess the person that inspired the legend of Santa is St. Nicholas. And one thing that has always moved me about his story is that he would bring coins to the poorest of the poor, and also women that were forced into working situations that were not honoring to who they were. And I always thought it was so beautiful that that's who he paid attention to, and that's sort of like the root of what Santa symbolizes. And I was, for a while, my kids are really into reading Little House in the Big Woods, and there's this really sweet part of the book where Ma is explaining to Laura who Santa is, and she's saying that Santa is less of a real person and more of the spirit of Christmas, and that's what he symbolizes. And so ever since I read that as an adult, actually, that moved me a lot. So I really like that now.
Anyone else?
Claus then. Let's go get him. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the rein. Bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and bright. Hang your stockings and say your prayers as Santa Claus comes tonight. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. He'll come around when chimes ring out, it's Christmas morn again. Peace on earth, go. Oh my goodness, sorry. I turned my page. Where am I? Oh my goodness. Peace on earth will come to all if we just follow the light. Let's give thanks to the Lord above, for Santa Claus comes tonight. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus.
we were talking about Santa Claus. I was telling Jan last night. When I was really little, because I have to think about where we were living at the time, to this day, I will tell you, I heard Santa Claus on the roof, because I am sure I did. And if it wasn't that, what was it? And I remember that so profoundly, and coming out and saying the next morning, I heard, it really was. And everybody's like, well, I'm glad you did. And nobody argued, and it was just like such a precious memory that I felt kind of affirmed about that I had heard. So, yeah. So this is the question that we have for this part of our service is, what's the funniest thing your child has ever done on a holiday, particularly Christmas? And the other question we can answer is, what's the craziest memory you have? What's a time when Christmas maybe kind of went off the rails? Or like my friends who put the turkey in the oven for Christmas dinner and forgot to turn the oven on. Or the other part of that story is perhaps a child turned the oven off accidentally. So Christmas dinner kind of had to be altered for those folks. So what are some of the fun stuff that you remember about someone doing, or your parents doing, or just some crazy kind of Christmas memories? Anybody? Uh-oh, you're getting picked out there, Ashley. Hang on, wait for a mic. Hang on a second.
I have a couple, I guess. So, when Brianna was little, so I never believed in Santa.
I believed in him till 6th grade.
Till 6th grade, because my older brother was told at a very young age, and then he told me, so I never believed in Santa. So we put on the show for quite a while for Brianna, and we had a fireplace a lot of the time when she was younger, and we took work boots and put them in the soot of the fireplace, and then put them through the house. And I got very upset about Santa traipsing through and how I had to clean it up, and he could have at least wiped his feet coming down the chimney, and now here I am on Christmas morning and I have to clean all this stuff up. But also memories that when you took it. Oh, well, yeah, and the kids always, I have a slight case of OCD. The Christmas tree is always an issue for me up until recent years about where the ornaments and things are. So I know that Brianna, I've gotten mildly, I'm sure, upset, very mildly upset about her taking off ornaments or rearranging them or putting other ones on, or they're so yeah. And then memories that I have from Christmas are, we always had I don't know if I'm sure you guys remember, they used to have folding doors that they would put, between the kitchen and the dining room. Mm-hmm. And we kids would stay out in the living room, and we would play with our Light Bright and our Lincoln Logs and coloring books and all that stuff, while the craziness would be going out in the dining room. I just know there was alcohol involved and board games and adult conversations happening, but I was always just so curious, and I would sit next to the door and try and hear what was going on out there. But that's how we spent almost every Christmas is at my grandma's house, playing board games and with the Light Bright and with my brothers and stuff. So yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Kevin Krumvita.
Today is the 50th Christmas I've shared with my partner in life, Barbara.
Barb? Oh, got it. But that's all right. Go ahead. And I can't remember your name.
Marie.
Marie, okay, thank you. I knew it.
Okay, so I have two, but actually I have a Grandpa Herbie too. And growing up, so he's French, or was French, my grandma was Finnish, and we're from Minnesota, so we're up in Duluth, Minnesota, and we're the only family members now that don't have a sauna in our house, but growing up, people did, so we would go in Grandma and Grandpa's cedar wood sauna in the basement. And especially in the winter in Duluth, we'd all run out there and roll in the snow and run back. But one of my biggest memories of my siblings and I'm the oldest of 5 kids. My mom had 5 kids in 7 years. Jeez. And tons of cousins, and my siblings and I still laugh about the kind of humorous anticipation. My Grandpa Herbie was a big prankster, and he would get a bucket of ice cold water, and we'd be sitting there in the sauna, and we wouldn't know when he'd come, and he would open the door quick, just splash the bucket of ice water in, and then like go running up the stairs and try to hide. So that was like one funny memory. And then the other one was my parents, we moved to a new house, and in our living room we had a vaulted ceiling. And so we had moved from a very small house in Minneapolis to this big house that my dad worked on in the country. So when it came time to pick the Christmas tree, my dad wanted to go really big. So we got this huge Christmas tree. I mean, it was like 10 feet. And I was sitting in the living room looking out on the snowy field and feeling like, oh, Christmas is so beautiful. I was about 10 years old, and then I heard like a little bell. And we had just watched, what is it?
Lampoon?
It's a Wonderful Life, where they say like when a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. So I was like feeling so magical, and all of a sudden I heard like, shh, and the whole Christmas tree fell. And it missed me by about this much, but all of a sudden the angel was like next to me. And so then I started screaming, and my poor mom came in. She just broke down sobbing because everything she had worked on. And that was the last year the Christmas tree was ever freestanding. After that, my dad actually drilled this weird little thing into the wall, and then he'd tie it to the wall.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
We did
So
that.
anyway, those are a few of mine.
Yeah. The woman in the back row there, Barb, Ethan.
Out in?
Yeah, that one.
That one.
That one. Mm-hmm.
The previous speaker about decorating the tree, our daughter, she was probably a young teenager, laying on the couch while I was decorating the tree. And I said, don't you want to help? And I like the ornaments in each spot too. And she said, I'm going to go set the timer for 20 minutes. If you move one ornament, I'm stopping. And now she's 37. She has 3 children of her own, and they decorate the tree every year, and it looks so beautiful. And no ornaments get moved, and it just looks perfect.
Did anyone have a kid tree and an adult tree in your house? So we always had 2 trees. That there was one in the basement that we could do whatever we wanted to. And that always had the stuff from school, the things that you made in school, anything. And we could do whatever we wanted to it. So it was our tree.
That will happen in the next house, because there's also a limit as to how many school items can go on the tree for me as well. Okay, now
Yeah. And then, and then my mom would do the beautiful tree, and it usually had a color theme. It was one year it was blue, and one year it was red, and then we did the flocked tree and all that. Ethan. Never let us what?
rainbow lights.
Oh, rainbow lights. Yeah. How about any stories involving, you made me think about this, any stories involving animals? And
Animals, they were little people. We called them little people, but they were little animals, and they lived in the tree. And they would, have their houses. Their houses would be in the tree, and my friend Joanna and I, until we were like 13 or something crazy like that, and we were like, we shouldn't play this. We shouldn't be playing with little people because we're big now. But we loved it. They had their little
Cats?
houses.
Anybody with any cat stories around Christmas? Cliff Klosterman?
Run, Ethan, run.
Yeah, and I think the kids can tell this story a little bit better, but kind of tying your two questions together, we had a couple of fake trees. One was a 4-foot tall fake tree that we got as a wedding present to start out when Lisa and I got married. And that was up 1 year until Tamlin, our orange tabby cat, decided that it shouldn't be. Oh, that's right. There was that one, and it was a real tree. That's right. I forgot. It was a short real tree, and I should have talked with the person's dad who anchored it, because we just took bungee cords. I'm not that mechanical, and we re-secured the tree to some cabinets and to whatever else we could make sure was not stationary. And yes, so our cat Tamlin made it a memorable Christmas.
Oh. Oh.
I seem to have blocked out a lot of the trauma. I think I've learned something about myself right now.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else that's near and dear to your heart as far as memorable, fun, crazy Christmas memories? Ashley's got one more. I love having the folks here with kids, because those are when the stories really pop out.
And I'm already crying, so
All right.
yeah,
All
as
right.
you guys know.
It's okay.
Thanks, Brianna. The girl's dad asked me to marry him on Christmas Eve. He was a big football fan and was watching the Packers game. And we were late for Christmas, and I was really upset. I was like, I don't care about this game. Like, who cares? It's another football game. It's Packers. Come on, let's go. And he was always running late. We would sometimes leave without him. Anyways, this year I was upset, obviously, and was like, can you just please get in the shower? Like, we're already late. Your grandparents are going to be upset. Like, let's get things moving. And he was like, yes, first. Or I will, but first, will you marry me?
Just like that, out
And I was like, sure, yeah, whatever, just get in the shower. That was my response to the girl's dad asking me. Sure, whatever, just get in the shower. So.
All right. All right. I think we're ready for a song. Holly Jolly Christmas.
Holly Jolly Christmas.
All right, here we go.
There it is. Have a holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year. I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer. Have a holly jolly Christmas. And when you walk down the street, say hello to friends you know and everyone you meet. Oh, the mistletoe hung where you can see. Somebody waits for you, kiss her once for me. Have a holly jolly Christmas, and in case you didn't hear, oh, by golly, have a holly jolly Christmas this year.
Okay, so our next topic is traditions that you may have. Like, it could be food related, which I remember my mother making oyster stew. No, thank you. And we always had eggnog. Yes. Anybody want to share their something that might be a tradition? Okay.
We were actually just talking about this the other day. I saw someone post Christmas Village on Facebook, and not a whole lot of people do Christmas villages anymore, but it was something that my step-grandmother did, and it was all over her main level, through the living room, into the dining room, up on like multi-level. You know, she had an ice skating rink with like figurines, that's the whole thing. And she would make a list for my brothers and I, like a scavenger hunt list, and make homemade hot cocoa. And we each got our own list, and there were some similar items on there. And it would be like who could find it first. And then there were different items that were like specific to our list, but you would have to find, you know, the golden retriever with the red collar in the village, and we would just sip our hot cocoa and cross things off of our scavenger list. And I just wish I could borrow a Christmas village. Like, I don't want to invest. That's a lot. I don't want to pack it away. I don't want to store it, anything. But if I could just like borrow one and do the same thing, I would love to. That was very fond childhood memory for me. So,
Thank you for sharing.
No, nothing. I was just remembering that we forgot. I was just remembering that we usually put up a Christmas train. We have like this HO train that we usually put up, replace our other train. I did tell my dad to bring it, but there was a box upstairs, and he decided not to do it. He said, told us to do it later, and then he never remembered.
So last night before I went to bed, we put out treats for Santa. And I think we've usually done that. We always did. It was cookies and something to drink usually. And we put it by the tree so he wouldn't miss it. So yeah, I that's a tradition I've kind of kept. Trying to think about other family traditions that I actually grew up with, and nothing that's out of the ordinary is coming to me. So maybe somebody else has got some.
I have a couple of good memories. One tradition was that there was a date in November when St. Nicholas, actually, a different figure, not Santa Claus, but would come and pound on our door and scare the bejeebers out of all of us. And we would jump up from whatever we were doing, our homework or cooking or whatever, and run to the door, and St. Nicholas would have thrown in this bag of oranges and walnuts and all kinds of nuts and apples and that crazy old-fashioned Christmas candy that's really colorful. And that was really exciting as a kid. And it was something that, you know, you didn't think about. It's not Easter, it's not Thanksgiving. It was just kind of one of those holidays that just kind of popped in there, and it was a good memory. And another tradition is that it doesn't happen every year, but my mom likes to sew, and people have kind of come and gone in our family, you know, girlfriends or boyfriends or whoever, and so every few years, brand new stockings get sewn with our names on them, and they're always filled, and it's a sweet memory. It's really a nice tradition.
Thank you, Amanda.
We used to always go to Shakey's Pizza before the midnight mass or midnight service, and I remember watching black and white TV while we were sitting there, and we had peanut-shaped balloons, and we could watch in the window while they made the pizza. And it was just, lots of fun until it closed down. And then after we had Christmas dinners for a while, we ordered pizza at home.
This is probably the same thing I said last year, but so my grandpa's birthday was on the 24th. So my dad had 5 brothers and sisters, and all the kids, and I had really good memories of being with my cousins and my aunts and uncles on the day before Christmas. And then we would be at our own homes the next day to celebrate our own Christmas. And they'd go out, and my grandma and grandpa lived on a small farm, and they would go out and find a cedar tree just for that day and stick it in this special room that they didn't open up very much, and living room, I guess you'd call it. And we'd all decorate it, and then and my family, I thought they were pretty smart because of so many people, and then so everybody would draw names ahead of time, and then everybody would get one present, so, except for Grandma and Grandpa. Sometimes they got more, but anyway. And so then you'd get your special present, and that was our Christmas.
We had one Christmas food that I remember having a lot is something called patitsa. It's like a Slovenian bread. So my other grandparents were Italian and Slovenian. So patitsa is like a super thin, it's hard to describe, but I guess the way my grandma would make it is you make the dough and then you stretch it across a whole table until it's like paper thin. You could like see through it. And then you cover it with butter, honey, walnuts, dates, and then roll it super tight so you could just see like the little layers. So that was always a treat to come from my different aunts. And this year, my husband and I are going to try to make it. And then a tradition from my husband's growing up, I thought was the cutest thing. His grandma used to take satin ribbons and like stretch them throughout the house, and then the kids would follow them to get their presents. I thought that was cute.
Sweet, very sweet.
I'm moving right to the adult section here. My favorite Christmas tradition is making Christmas dinner with Barbara. And for those of you who don't know, Barbara was involved with 4-H when she was growing up, and she won several blue ribbons for her cooking. So it's more the fun of sampling than it is actually cooking my house. It's a great tradition.
I'm a kid, so I didn't do any traditions, but my favorite one now is Secret Santas. And we all pick a name, and then we have to get a present, and then we give them out on Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas Eve we also all get a book and pajamas.
Nice.
So my adult favorite Christmas tradition is becoming the Unity Comfy Christmas, I just have to say. And I want to say thank you for doing it every year, because I really do look forward to it and just kind of, hanging out and relaxing and sharing stories with you all. So thank you.
Okay, we'll move on with some music, but let me just tell you, mine was also setting out cookies and milk for Santa. And there was one specific Christmas that I know that Santa came because I felt his whiskers on my cheek.
I propose we move right on forward to Joy to the World. What do you think about that? Well, okay, well, you pick Frosty or Joy to the World. I don't care. Frosty? All right, well, Frosty it is then. Frosty it is then. All right. Oh, good job in the back. Nice. I try to make things hard. All right, Frosty. The short version, actually. Frosty the snowman was a jolly, happy soul with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. Frosty the snowman is a fairy tale, they say. He was made of snow, but the children know how he came to life one day. There must have been some magic in that old silk hat they found, for when they placed it on his head, he began to dance around. Oh, Frosty the snowman was alive as he could be, and the children say he could laugh and play just the same as you and me. Thumpity-thump, thump, thumpity-thump, thump, look at Frosty go. Thumpity-thump, thump, thumpity-thump, thump, over the hills of snow.
What fun. Now is the time for our love offering, and so I invite you to take your love offering and hold it over your heart as we say the blessing together, which is, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We are an abundant community. And we see this going out in the world, prospering our UnityCR, our community in the world, expanding 10,000-fold. And for those who have put a prayer request into the prayer box, we hold you in love and compassion. And for those that we have prayed for, we see the abundance, the wholeness, the healing, the joy that is answered, for we know that prayer is answered in divine mind, and we see those prayers going up. And we are blessed by all of this today. Amen.
Amen. Can we do Joy to the World next?
Yes, let's sing.
Let's sing. Let's sing Joy to the World. Which is, oh, hey, good. Look at them. They're so good. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders, wonders of his love.
Thank you all so much for being here with us, filled with joy and love. This was just great fun, and hear all your stories. And now that we're surrounded by snow, you can think about snow stories, because we had a portion we would have done those too, of what you love to do in the snow and the snowmen you made. But right now we're going to say bye to all those out there watching us online. Thankful that you're here with us. Snuggle up in your jammies and enjoy the day. And thank you all for being here. And I'm going to close with a prayer from the Unity's poet laureate, they called him, James Dillett Freeman. And it's to remind us to go forth from here and keep that joy and love of Christmas in our hearts. And it's called, If Every Day Were Christmas. If every day were Christmas, how different life would be. If not one day, but all the year were ruled by charity. Had we the faith in miracles a child has Christmas morn, each day would be love's manger, and Christ would be reborn. Reborn in us again to change and heal our outworn wars and ways. Had we a child's or shepherd's gifts for wonderment and praise. Yet every day is Christmas, when we have learned to live by love's law. Learn not how to get, but only how to give. And like a child can wonder, and like a child can pray, but have the grown-up wisdom to give ourselves away. So let us come back from this holiday time refreshed and peaceful in the midst of all the busyness of our lives. Let our faith be renewed as we share the teachings of Advent, one day, one person, one smile, one hug, one prayer at a time. With divine spirit, our way is clear and our journey is secure. Enfolded in Christ's light and love, may we experience a new life, a rebirth, filled with faith, love, joy, and everlasting peace. And so it is for the new year ahead. Amen.
And let's close with our peace song. There it is.
Let's do the peace song together. You stand.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyful vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And our prayer for protection, the light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
And the presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Wherever I am, God is. And indeed, all is well.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and